you know you're not alone and there are other people out there, and it really is heartwarming and very comforting. If you're part of the Parkinson's community, you may have found some useful advocates that you like to follow, for example, on social media. Shafaq, has that been true for you? Are there any high profile people or advocates or people in the community that you follow, and have they helped you?
Yes, short answer to that question is yes. People have been very helpful. Social media has been instrumental. I know it's often considered a force for bad, but with me, since my diagnosis, it has been nothing but a force for good. Facebook is initially the first place I turned to, and that's how I met you, Vicky, which was brilliant. And it's also how I met other people as well. And then a friend of mine, Jane Alty, who's a neurologist now in Australia, told me to join Twitter, and so I did. And honestly, Twitter has been amazing. It's been a savior for me. And I was talking to this about this with another friend of mine called David Sangster, who is one of the people that I follow, who works for Parkinson's UK. And honestly, when I say he is inspiring, he is inspiring. He does so much advocacy work, and he has no well, he probably does have hesitation, but he doesn't mind sharing the ups and the downs of Parkinson's. And I find that so heartening because he's just open. And he says, I carried on teaching until, I think it was 4 years ago or something like that. So it just shows you real life experiences and how people, despite having this condition, which can be pretty horrible at times, are living every day-to-day lives and still managing the condition and still carrying on. And it's like they're unsung heroes, and they keep you afloat with their comments.
I think exactly the same. I mean, gosh, it must have been so difficult actually thinking about it before social media, because I mean, I don't know what you'd do. You'd feel so alone, wouldn't you? Especially having it at a young age. I suppose you'd seek out groups in your local area somehow. I think for anyone newly diagnosed, I think you'll find that people will respond to you and help you. And there are so many groups, like you said, Facebook was where we found each other. There are so many groups on Facebook, and you'll find the one for you, but it's certainly a really good starting point. I don't know if there are any downsides to following people. That was one of the questions I was going to ask.
You don't think there's any downsides?
I think it's more positive than it is negative.
Yes.
I can't think of any. You can't think of any.
I think the only thing is if you're not ready for social media and you you will see everyone at every stage of the condition, and you need to be psychologically ready to see that. I think for the first 6 months or so after my diagnosis, I didn't really partake in much. I just let my brain get used to the diagnosis, and only then did I venture onto social media. And I think for me that was right. And now it doesn't bother me if I see someone who's got really bad dyskinesia, or the other day I saw on Twitter someone was struggling to put on socks or something like that. And it doesn't bother me because it's just what it is.
I sometimes feel conscious myself, actually, because my Parkinson's is still relatively mild, looking at me on a screen when I'm exercising as opposed to at home. I sometimes feel that other people with Parkinson's might be thinking, oh my God, I need to be doing more fitness, and and I'd hate that for people to think that.
I don't think so. I think everyone, like for example, you're earlier on in the condition at the moment, and there's other people that are later on, but we appreciate that we're earlier on, and other people that are further on in the condition will actually appreciate that we are earlier on. And I don't exercise like you, but I do. I like you say, looking at me, people wouldn't be able to tell that I always have Parkinson's. It's only sometimes that my tremor comes out, and normally my tremor is very good and comes out only when I'm at home in the evening normally. I do sometimes feel like people might be looking at me thinking, well, you're not really a very good advocate because you're not Parkinson-y enough. No one has ever said that to me. I think everyone knows, even if you're not exhibiting motor symptoms, the non-motor symptoms are a killer as well.
So I think all in all, we're saying a yay to social media. It's helped both of us. And also, we wouldn't have found LivedHealth, would we?
Exactly. We wouldn't have found LivedHealth, and LivedHealth has been amazing.
If you would like to find out more about Parkinson's, please subscribe. We release a new video every single week.